Welcome to the Baller Boyz podcast. They're all about sports, and more sports. And now, the Baller Boyz, Mark and Shemaya.
Hello, and welcome back to the Baller Boyz podcast. It's your boy, Mark, but I do not do this alone. I am joined by the other Baller Boy, Shemaya. What's going on, man?
Overtime like the Packers.
Yeah, let's talk about that on this episode of the Baller Boyz podcast. First of all, thank you all for joining us. If this is your first time listening, thank you especially. We record these after busy days at work, so this is very much our time to just kick back, relax, and talk sports. And it's a pleasure for y'all to join us for that. So with that being said, what are we talking about? We are going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and kind of our thoughts on this overtime loss to the Packers. Now, Shemaya, I think both you and I had the Cowboys beating the Packers.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, I guess they heard the podcast and said, you know what, there's no way we're gonna allow the Dallas Cowboys beat us. And I think Christian Watson definitely heard the show because we named some players that we said had to step up for the Packers. And I really think, yeah, we know what happened in the fourth quarter. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Watson stepped up when they needed to. About 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Very nice pass, touchdown. Aaron Rodgers to Watson. You got to tip your hat to them, man. They came prepared. It's not like they were blown out and they caught up. They kind of, they were tough. But man, overtime. I got some like flashbacks to last year's season with the Dallas Cowboys. And it's like, dang, like y'all will always be close and then screw it up. That's my conclusion. And it is what it is. You know, they're the favorite team to cheer for, but then they will pop every balloon on your birthday.
That is dead accurate. Yeah.
It would be your favorite color balloon too.
Right. They're all like your favorite color and they all just burst at the same time.
It's like, Come on, guys.
Yeah. And by the way, clutch pickup on your behalf. You called it, man. You called Christian Watson having to step up and calling him like having to be productive. And he sure was, man. He went off in this game. Actually, in the game that just happened last night against the Titans, he had 2 touchdowns. So Aaron Rodgers likes trusting his wide receivers. So I think he's found some trust in Watson. And I think they got something there in Green Bay with those two, with that tandem. So don't be surprised if Watson just continues to rack up touchdowns, because especially in the red zone, because A-Rod is starting to build some good trust with him. But as far as this game, man, this was a bad loss for the Cowboys. And apparently, shout out to Rocky Garza Jr., from Sweep the League. The guy, Rocky, basically, he talked about on the past Sweep the League episode about how the Cowboys haven't beaten the Packers since 2016. So, it still lives up, man. They still haven't beaten them. So, I guess we could have seen this coming, but this was the game. We called it though. The Packers had to win this game, and then of course they blow it to the Titans, which, We'll talk a little bit more about that, the ramifications of that for the Packers going forward. But as far as the Cowboys, this is a bad loss considering the Titans just beat the Packers. The Packers season, I think they're done.
Who's Alan Lazard? Who is that guy?
It's the Lizard King, man.
Well, he's the guy that set up the winning field goal. And I never heard a guy until that game. And, that's pretty bad on my part. I'm obviously being sarcastic, but my point is Dallas Cowboys. It was right there. The W was waiting in the locker room. And then they got their own GPS. And they just blew that game. I know I'm being harsh, but I'm just saying that's a game you can't lose, man. Because if they would have beaten the Packers, I think a lot more people would be joining the bandwagon with the Cowboys. Yeah, I think a lot more people would be like, okay, let's see what the Cowboys can do. Now it's like, what were you expecting? You know, it's like Stephen A. Smith is always right, which some people will be happy and others will just be sick to their stomach because they're wishing and hoping and praying that Stephen A. Smith can be wrong for once, and the Cowboys just shock everybody and basically do what they are supposed to do, man. I mean, it's a franchise that a lot of people respected in the 90s, right? Fast forward to now, it's like half and half. You know, there's times where you look at the Cowboys and it's like, oh, wow, okay, dang, okay, this is pretty good. And then other times it's like, wow, I want to take all those compliments back that I just said, 2 months ago. But they have an easy one with the Vikings. Maybe they'll win that one. Maybe they will. I know we're going to go down the list, but I'm just giving a sneak preview. They have some games that they could win. Easiest one will be the Texans. But the point is, if Cowboys still want people to believe in this, I won't say conspiracy theory, but this magical theory that they're going to find their way to the big game, they better win every game and not lose anything. And we both know that that's mission impossible with the wrong number, like 005, when we're talking about the Cowboys. Because they're just not consistent, man.
Yeah, it's a shame that they kind of remind me of the Vikings, like of years past, where the Vikings have always been kind of that middling team where they have a lot of talent, but you can't depend on them to win like games that they should win, or they find ways to lose games. There's just no consistency. And that's what this Cowboys team is reminding me of, at least with this loss, because this was a bad one. They allowed A-Rod to throw for 224 yards, 3 touchdowns. No interceptions, only 2 sacks. Here's the other big one, too. The Cowboys cannot stop anything on the ground. Aaron Jones had 138 yards and a touchdown, averaging 5.8 yards a carry. I mean, you were going to say something? Did you want to say something, man?
I was just saying they had the runs. They couldn't stop nothing.
Yeah.
It was sad.
Yeah, and I know Dallas's defense has had an issue defending the run for a majority of the season, but this was a game that they should have won. This Packers team, I mean, I can understand because we talked about it in our last episode. The Packers had this storyline going into this game that this is a must win. It was at Lambeau. They had to do this in front of their fans. They had to do this for their own morale going forward. Well, they flushed that down the toilet real fast. I'll tell you that.
Sitting that so fast.
Yeah, you were talking about the runs. The Packers are the runs right now. They flushed their season down the toilet with that loss to the Titans yesterday, which makes this worse for the Cowboys. So not only do they lose to the Packers, who seemingly had turned their season around, at least to the general public, but then they go and blow it on Thursday Night Football to the Titans, and their season's probably over. I don't see they have some tough games ahead of them. I think I had them beating the Titans too. But I mean, they still have to face some tough opponents. The Packers do. And the Cowboys, going to the Cowboys, I mean, they really should have, they had a chip on their shoulder to stop that run since 2016 of losing to the Packers. And they still couldn't get it done. They only lost by 3 points. But if we are looking at some bright spots on this offense, CeeDee Lamb went ham. And man, they got something in Tony Pollard. Guy averaging 5.2 yards a carry. 115 yards rushing and a touchdown. Even got involved in the passing game. Yeah, they got something in Tony Pollard, so that's the good news. They can rely on him on a full workload. I think Zeke will be helpful in the red zone at the goal line to get, those power touchdowns in short distance, but they found something in Tony Pollard, and I hope they hang on to him. But this was otherwise a bad loss for the Cowboys. They should have won this one. And I mean, do you have any like closing thoughts on this game, man?
No, my closing thoughts is that Green Bay, they were playing Diddy Kong Racing on the rainbow track, and they just magically cut in line with the biggest jump ever that the Cowboys were not expecting at the very last moment. And probably make everyone PO when they went to the locker room, like, how did we let this one slip? You know? And yeah, it's almost like you slipping on the banana peel on the last final lap in Mario Kart. And you're like, I was right there. I was about to have the champagne, the confetti, the fans. I was about to destroy the attitude and mood of Stephen A. Smith. But instead, I emphasize every point that Stephen A. Smith has made throughout the season. Just wait for the Cowboys to mess up. Just wait. They gonna let you down. That's the rap song of the year.
They will let you down. Oh man, Cowboys fans. That was a tough loss, man. But Cowboys fans, all y'all fans listening to the Baller Boys podcast, we are going to go down the schedule here for the Cowboys for the remainder of the season and Vikings. Now it is in Minnesota, the 8-1 Vikings who just came off that dramatic, probably game of the season win over the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, by the way. But the Cowboys have a tall task in Minnesota on the road. They have to take on Kirk Cousins or Perk Thuggins based on that awesome like Twitter stuff and Instagram or TikTok, whatever. He put it everywhere, but his new nickname is Perk Thuggins apparently, and I love it. But yeah, so now the Cowboys got to go on the road and deliver. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I think the Cowboys get it done.
I mean, Cowboys have no choice. Because if they don't get it done, they might as well just lose every game for the rest of the season. They have to look at the Packers game as a wake-up call. And I would be bold to say they need to win every single game, starting with the Vikings, because no one is going to take them serious. There's no way anyone's going to take the Cowboys serious. I mean, you look at the Vikings and where they're at in their season, and then you look at the Cowboys. Cowboys is 6-3, and you look at the Vikings, they're 8-1. This will be a perfect game for the Cowboys to take. I think the Vikings have a better shot at winning, but this will be a good morale game for the Cowboys to bounce back and kind of, I guess, hold the ropes and tell people, hey, don't throw us out the window yet. Like, keep the hot water in. You know, we are still believing in that dream that no one else wants to believe in. And I think people will respect the Cowboys if they get this W. I really do. Stephen A. Smith, disclaimer, he's no association with the show, but he will probably laugh at every single thing I'm saying and saying, no. Cowboys are going to find a way to lose because that's what they have been good at for the past, how many years? Too many. So, as much as my heart wants to go for the Cowboys, I think the Vikings.
Oh, speaking of choking,
I think the Vikings are really going to find a way to really shut them down. Hate to say that. I hope I'm wrong. But I feel like at this point the Cowboys have proven that they are the most inconsistent team in the league.
Yeah, they've unfortunately they've had that mantra for a while now, and
because when they're good, they're good. Well, when they're bad, they're horrible.
Yeah, they tend to choke real bad when they do mess up.
And
like that's the thing with the Cowboys.
It's not even like, something epic. It's something petty.
Yeah. I mean, I know everyone says it, but just go look at that playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers last season, and you'll get everything.
Just give them easy, all Madden access to throwing the ball, making it look like a scrimmage game, and then setting them up right for a field goal. It's like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, the average person doesn't even know who any of Rodgers' receivers were.
They do not.
Like, no one even knows, like, who is this guy? I didn't even know he was an NFL player. Right?
Yeah, exactly. The thing about the Cowboys, they're playing teams that they should be beating, right? They should beat Vikings. They should beat Giants. They should be the Colts. They should blow out the Texans. And they should win by at least 2 touchdowns by the Jaguars. And then they'll probably get spanked by the Eagles on Christmas Eve. But
speaking of, you talked about the Giants and Cowboys. So do you think the Giants will upset the Cowboys in that game?
Nah.
In Arlington?
Nah, I'm not. Because if they lose, I think Jerry will probably suspend the key cards for all the team players.
He's not allowed in the building.
It'll be a Twitter controversy type thing where he might just lock himself in the office and say, "Y'all can't come in today. Like, stay away from my palace. Y'all go to your homes because I'm PO right now."
So you think the Giants will pull it out in Dallas?
Oh no! I'm saying they can't, because if they do, Jerry Jones is not going to be a happy person. He's going to be like, what? You know what?
That's on Thanksgiving too. So Jerry might not have a happy.
He will probably not invite them to Thanksgiving. He probably just give them all, some holiday cards. But he probably be too PO if they lose to the Giants. Not saying Giants are complete trash, but that's a team that they shouldn't lose to, especially if they're talking all this hype talk. How good they are. Well, yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, the Cowboys did have a victory over the Giants from earlier this season. So to me, I mean, this game's a toss-up, but I think I have a feeling. I have a feeling the Giants are going to squeak that one out on Thanksgiving.
If there's penalties,
I just have this feeling.
If there's penalties, trouble with the Cowboys, those penalties will let the Giants probably win by a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, for one of these teams, they're not going to have a happy Thanksgiving. So it'll be interesting one way or another. But on to the next game. We have the Indianapolis Colts visiting the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. What's your pick on that one?
Another game that Cowboys need to win. So I'm going with the Cowboys on that one. The Colts are 4-5, so they're not a scary team. Cowboys are not nervous, before that game. They're not, worried about too many issues because let's just say the Colts, they have a record of 2-3 on the road. And yeah, if you're a Cowboy, you're not too worried about the Colts. But if you look at the Colts players, they got to pay attention, not let this be a situation where they get caught sleeping. Because there are some people on the team that they should be careful and not fall asleep during the game. But other than that, this is probably going to be a closer game. I think the Colts will probably make this a interesting game to watch. But, nah, I don't see the Colts just like tearing down the Cowboys. It's probably going to be a good fight throughout the game, going back and forth. It'll probably be a low-scoring game. But Cowboys, I think they'll win by a field goal.
Ooh, I mean, that's a pretty good prediction. Actually, the Colts, this game could be a toss-up too, because that team has turned it around ever since Jeff Saturday took the reins there as the head coach. He's their interim coach right now after they fired Frank Reich. But Jeff Saturday has just prompted up this offensive line. I don't know, the O-line's playing a lot better. Jonathan Taylor woke up. Dude's a stud. So it's going to be a fun game. And I agree with you. I think this is going to be a close one too. But I think the Cowboys are going to pull it out as well. You mentioned before, there's a lot of pressure on this Cowboys team to deliver. I think they're going to lose against the Giants the week before. So this is a game that they must win. And I think they will win this one. But with that being said, we move on to a battle of Texas. The Houston Texans visit the Dallas Cowboys.
Do we really want to call it a battle?
The beatdown. Okay. By the way, this is the third straight home game for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and this is where they probably going to be drinking that hype juice, because they're going to make the Texans look like they're not even a professional football team. I mean, where do we want to start with the Texans? They have one win this year. So who the heck is going to get excited about buying tickets for that game?
I didn't even realize they had one win.
Yeah, and they're
gosh,
they're 1-4 on their away games. They are 0 at home. So like I said, again, who wants to buy those tickets for that game? Only people buying tickets are people who actually live close to Dallas, and they're just trying to have a getaway for the weekend.
I wouldn't even give those tickets to my enemies, man.
Yeah, if I was a Cowboys fan, I'll just go just because I'll probably like drink a lot of beer and just scream and yell. I wouldn't be going because I'm like expecting a good game. Texans will probably get blown out, and whoever plays on that team, they haven't showed up all season, so it doesn't even matter about us naming people who play on that team. That's kind of harsh. So hold
on. I do have to give one shout out. There is one player on that team that I do like. It's Dameon Pierce, the rookie running back.
Oh yeah,
on the Texans. He's good.
He doesn't even like count. Everyone else is trash.
Okay.
He has a good excuse. It's only his first year. He can't help that. He landed on, a planet that has no oxygen. That's not his fault. He has a bright future. So yeah, anybody outside of Dameon Pierce, I don't know where the heck they've been all season. But obviously, like I said, they haven't won one game at home. At home. It's terrible. I mean, even the Dallas Cowboys have won a game at home. Heck, I think my Detroit Lions have won a game at home. So, it's just sad, man. It's just sad. And I gotta check this. I gotta make sure I'm right. Detroit Lions, yes, they have won 2 games this season at home. So, come on, Houston. If Detroit can do it, you got 0 for crying out loud. Not 1, 0.
Yeah, I guess you could say Houston has a problem.
Man, they have a problem for years. At this point, they just don't have a team. Like, why do we have a football team in Houston? Like, they need to sell that team somewhere else. Like, sell it to Alaska. Maybe they might do better.
Oh man,
North Dakota.
The poor Texans. North Dakota. The poor Texans, man. But this episode is not about the Texans. We may have one. We may have an end of season episode about the Texans. But our next game is the Cowboys visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. What do you got on this one?
This one I think will be interesting. And the reason why is because Jaguars, they're almost as bad as Texans, but they won 2 games at home, so they're not as bad as Houston. But the record is pretty shaky. They're 3-7. I I like the Jaguars because I think Trevor Lawrence is just unfortunately he is not showing what I thought he would be showing earlier on in his career. He's had some struggles. So with that, I think the Cowboys will find a way to win. But there's some good players on the Jaguars team. And Trevor Lawrence, he may get a spark. It ain't going to be a bright spark. You might have to squint your eyes and see if it actually sparks. But he might find a way to make this a close game and win by a field goal. But I'm leaning more so on Cowboys because they shouldn't lose to the Jaguars because I think they're better than that team as far as talent. But who knows? Anything can happen.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys are superior as well as far as talent. It's just up and down the board. The Jaguars are still rebuilding. They just got Doug Peterson. I think they started the season 2-0. I could be wrong, but they started off a little bit hot and then they kind of cooled down fast. But yeah, I do have the Cowboys handing the Jags another L. Of course, I don't know if it was pretty obvious, I guess, with our last pick, but we both have the Cowboys beating the Texans, actually decimating the Texans. So as far as the Cowboys-Jags game, yeah, I agree with you, man. I think the Cowboys are going to go there and get it done. This is one of those games that I don't see any way that the Cowboys lose this game. And if they do lose this game, then yeah, they need to cancel Christmas.
Man, speaking of canceling Christmas, man, do you want to jump into the Eagles?
Oh, yeah, let's do it, man. You want to bring us in?
Well, number one, Cowboys gonna have issues. I mean, Eagles are stacked. All right, Jalen Hurts is super confident right now. He has a lot of weapons. Devontae Smith, the big guy center himself, the wall. Jason can't pronounce his last name, so I'm gonna spell it so I don't sound stupid. Kelce. You know how to pronounce his last name?
Kelsey, yeah.
It was a sarcastic joke, but my point is
Kelke.
That was funny. That was a good one. Anyway, see, I didn't say it, so I'm not. Yeah. Anyway, that's a bad joke. But my point is, Cowboys, man, they might get spanked. I mean, they might lose by 2 touchdowns. That's my prediction. I think the Cowboys might come in hot, but then Jalen Hurts, it's gonna be I'm about to put a hurt on y'all. I'm not about y'all to have a good Christmas day. I'm gonna remind y'all about Christmas on Christmas Eve and give y'all a present full of coal because I'm not about to let y'all have, a celebration tomorrow. I think the Eagles will just dominate the Cowboys on defense and offense. I think their defense will slow down Dak, and I think Jalen Hurts will put the foot on the gas and not apply any brakes. But I think the Cowboys with Dak, he'd probably be inspired, right? Emotionally. He's going to be I got to do this for the team and I got to go in. And I think Cowboys will have sparks in the game. But Philly, they too talented, man. They going to eventually slow down Dak. They going to study his plays and eventually outsmart, the offense and get some stops. And that'll position Jalen Hurts to just go crazy and light up the scoreboard.
It's interesting because we talked about this game. Actually, I think we made ourselves a little fun wager on this game, and so you've got the Eagles going in and dominating. Do you think they win by like 20?
Well, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll say yeah.
Okay. So you got them winning, dominating the Cowboys. I'm going to, and again, we reference our little fun wager from a few weeks ago because I've got the Cowboys winning at home on Christmas Eve. I think the Cowboys, we always talk about these ups and downs with them, but I think the Cowboys are going to show up for this game. I just have this feeling they're at home. They have to play well for playoff seeding. And I could see the Eagles blowing this game. I mean, they just blew a game against the Commanders on Monday Night Football. So I could see the Eagles, I mean, just blowing this one to the Cowboys in Arlington. Give the Cowboys a dub. I think it will be a close game, though. I don't think it'll be a blowout. It'll be competitive, but I think the Cowboys pull it out.
Cowboys can't have any penalties if they want that scenario. Because
yeah, that's like the Cowboys Bible right there, man.
Because if Cowboys have a penalty here and there, let's just say those 20 points might be more.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Penalties have always haunted this Cowboys team. So they need to step up, man. They got to show up, and that is the game to show it. But there is another team that is heating up here as we get closer to as we're in the middle of the season, getting closer to the end here. There's a team up in Tennessee that is heating up, and they are the Titans. And the Cowboys have a visit up to Tennessee to do battle with these Titans. Shemaiah, do the Cowboys beat the 7-3 Titans?
Yes.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Okay, I got to hear this. Go ahead.
I mean, what more confidence do you need to have that you beat the Packers and they lost to the Titans? They're going to look at this game and say, you know what? All right, Packers couldn't get it done, but we beat them. So that being said, this is going to be a close game. I'm not crazy. They're not going to dominate the Titans. But the Cowboys, they're going to find a way to beat the Titans. And I think they're just going to be more aggressive in this game because at this point in the season, if the Cowboys are who they say they are, then their confidence is going to be sky high because they have to understand that the assignment is to win. So this is probably be an inspirational game for them because they're like, okay, Packers, they lost to them, right? But we beat the Packers. And I think they're going to be like, you know what? If we can beat the Packers, then we can muscle our way and find ourselves some way, somehow, beating the Titans. I think it'll probably be either a touchdown or it'll be won by a field goal. But this will be a game where Dak will probably be giving those inspirational speeches, right? And his teammates are probably going to buy in. And they're going to remember how it felt when they beat the Packers. And that will give them enough juice to barely win, but get a W.
Yeah, I think I'm completely on board with this. I think this is going to be a very close game. It's going to be very competitive. And they just counter each other so well. The Titans are so good at running the ball. The Cowboys defense is not good at defending the run. So I can easily see this score being up there. So this is going to be a test for the Cowboys. Now they have 2 back-to-back tests here. They got the Eagles and then they've got the Titans, 2 huge primetime, big stakes, high stakes games for these Cowboys, especially what it does for the team's morale. If they can come away with a win against the Eagles and the Titans, man, their momentum is sky high and they have every right to feel elated because of that. Because, those are 2 huge playoff contenders right there. And I'm very sure the Titans are going to come away with their division. They are playoff bound at this point. So the Cowboys are going to have a test in front of them, but I think tests are exactly what this Cowboys team needs because I feel like last season, maybe there was this sense of, okay, we're coasting into the playoffs, our seed is set. And I feel like the Cowboys kind of settled a little bit. They kind of got too comfortable and that allowed them to not deliver in clutch time. So I think the Cowboys having more tests like this with the Vikings, the Eagles, the Titans, even the Colts, and even the Giants. I mean, it's going to make them stay on their toes. And they should act like they're walking on eggshells because, every game counts. And every win is going to build up their momentum going into the playoffs. And with the NFC so wide open, with the Buccaneers struggling, the Packers struggling, the Rams looking like they've been dehorned. I mean, the whole NFC is open right now, and there's no excuses for the Cowboys. So I hope they carry that pressure and they just play and they deliver. And with that being said, man, I got to make my pick, I guess. So do you have the Cowboys going in or Titans beating? Or you got the Titans, right?
No. Cowboys.
Oh, you got the Cowboys? Okay.
They'll find a way to win.
They'll find a way. Yeah. I mean, this is a coin flip, man. It could go either way. I think the Titans are going to come away with this one. I think the Cowboys beat the Eagles and the Titans come away against the Cowboys. But both of these games are going to be extremely close and very competitive. So we got ourselves a back-to-back showtime ahead of us for these Cowboys games. But the Cowboys get to close their season against the Commanders on the road. What do you think?
See, this is where I'm going to lose a lot of Cowboy fans on this show. They may never want to listen to a Baller Boys episode ever again.
Oh, no. Are you going to do it?
Commanders are going to find a way to win because the Cowboys are going to find a way to lose. The reason why is because the game before that game on January 8th, the Commanders are going to smother the Browns. And I think they're just going to be riding on cloud nine. And when they play the Cowboys, they're going to find a way to muscle their way to get a field goal. And it'll be a close game. But I think this is the whole storyline. Like when Stephen A. Smith says, just wait, just wait for the Cowboys to let you down. This will be the game where it'll be a shocker. But, to some people, it may not be as much of a shocker. This is probably a game Cowboys have penalty trouble. And everyone's like, why you, allowing the Commanders have an opportunity? And they're going to be frustrated by all these penalties. And the Commanders just going to set up themselves to get a field goal and
man, this
win the
game's
game.
going to be trash. The sad part is you can be dead accurate with this. Like, I could see the Cowboys blowing this game, and the game is just terrible. Like, it could just be an awful game in general.
Only because it's a away game. If it was a home game, it'll be a different story.
Yeah, I still think the Cowboys get the job done. But geez, it could actually be close. Like you said, the Commanders do have some good defensive pieces on their team. Don't get me wrong. Their offense has struggled recently. They have some good running backs there too, though. So, and of course, as we just established earlier in the episode, the Cowboys do struggle against the run. So, well, I mean, I could see Washington staying in the game, but this could be an ugly game. I still do see the Cowboys getting the job done because I do think they're, as we said, I think they're going to experience some L's earlier against potentially some of these heavy hitters that they have before this game. But yeah, I just don't see the Cowboys. I don't want the Cowboys to lose this game because it's just gross. It's a nasty L. Like if they do lose, do you ever you're a Lions fan. Like, do you ever, well, I was about to say, like, do you ever see your Lions going up against
They don't like soap. They don't like soap, so it's always nasty.
Oh,
They're used to it.
yeah.
Cowboys, they're not used to getting like complete buffet, like options of L's. They just have a problem being consistent. They'll get a W and then they'll get an L. Then they'll get a W and then they'll get an L.
Yep.
Then they'll get a series of W's and then you will see what happened last season with the 49ers.
Yeah. They do have
it
problems.
makes you feel like your whole season was an L at that point because that's the perfect example. it's a bad way to lose. And they'll probably find a way to lose again. And Commanders, like I said, the game before that game, Commanders going to be playing the Browns. We all know what the Browns are. This season, they're cousins with Texans. So I think that'd be enough.
I wasn't expecting that one.
That'd be enough confidence for the Commanders to just be on cloud nine, and they'll muscle their way through, and boom, they're just going to shock the whole league and be like, wow, they beat the Cowboys, and then everyone is going to be like, well, we can't be surprised because it'll either be because the defense slowed down Dak or it'll be because, penalties. Either way, we all know when the Cowboys go high, they eventually crumble.
No truer words spoken there, man. The state of the Cowboys is the name of this episode, and I think the state of the Cowboys is they are who we thought they were. Inconsistent, not winning in those clutch moments, man. That game against the Packers, they really should have won that game. They had momentum.
They're the persons that go to work, about 30 minutes early for 1 month, and then the rest of the year they're late.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is completely accurate. I see that. Oh, man. Well, Shemaiah, I think we tackled the state of the Dallas Cowboys here. We even went through their schedule, gave some predictions on the rest of their road to the playoffs. I don't see them missing the playoffs at all. I think we both see them as a playoff team for sure, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, regardless of how many losses I predicted on this episode, they are a playoff team. They're just not the one to go all the way.
Yeah, they're going to have to turn some heads and prove a lot of haters wrong. That's for sure. It's not going to be an easy road because they've got some heavy hitters coming up, but they need to clean house against the teams that they are supposed to beat. So hopefully this is a wake up call. This loss to the Packers, and they go into Minnesota in ball because they have to. And that would be a statement game, a statement victory for them. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us on the Baller Boys podcast. You can listen to our episodes wherever podcasts are available on any podcast streaming service. Just type in Baller Boys podcast. We got the white shoes with the red cover, the cool art. Mark and Shemaiah, you can't miss us. Hit us up on Twitter as well. We like to retweet and post updates about. They even sweep the league. Shemaiah does his awesome I Am Refocused radio show where he talks about, he interviews difference makers, and then sweep the league, podcast. We just have fun with Rudy Campos Jr., with Rocky Garza, Candace, Derek, and we just have a blast on that show. It's a panel style, so everyone just kind of gets their word in, and we just talk about whatever. But thank you all for joining us here on Baller Boys Podcast, where we talk sports, and more sports. And again, Shemaiah, what's that Twitter?
Shemaiah the BT. That's it, man.
There you go. He keeps it simple. And you can follow me at Mark the MC, MARK. Oh, gosh, TH, 3 3s, no E's, capital M, capital C. Hit us up on Twitter. Give us a follow. And thank you all for giving us your time, giving us your ear. We really appreciate it. And again, we're just two wannabe sportsers who like to talk sports after work. So thank you all for joining us. Have a good night. Tell your mom, tell your grandma. Peace out.